Oh, this is going to be so juice. I will never forget Biden walking out on that stage after the debate. And, actually, it was before, right? But you remember where we're going with this. But look at this. House report reveals post-debate turmoil on Biden's team. We all remember his face when he walked out onto that stage. And we were covering it live, and we're like, oh my gosh, he's a zombie. I want to say I was the first YouTuber to make a video and go, this guy needs to step down. Which a lot of people, I hate to say it, they kind of wait to see what people say on social media before having an opinion. I don't do that. I just tell you my opinion right away. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you see certain podcasters will sit there with the iPad up when they're live streaming, not to mention any names, Patrick, but David, but it's a way of studying what people are saying in the comments on a live stream so that they can react appropriately. It's kind of brilliant because it keeps you aligned with your audience, but, you know, anyway. So let's take a look at this. Axios is now reporting after Joe Biden's disastrous debate performance last fall, his team fell into civil war. Well, yeah, dude, because he needed to go. They needed to do what Nancy Pelosi said. I can't believe I'm saying that. And they needed to hold an emergency primary to find the best candidate to replace Biden because it was over. Instead, they assigned Kamala because, you know, she didn't want to be, you know, passed up because, you know, why would you pass up a black woman? That would be wrong. It's like, well, we should have had a primary to determine who would have been best for Democrats to actually have a chance against Donald Trump rather than just assigning somebody, but whatever. With long-term aides insisting he was fine, well, that was the lie. We all knew this. And others, including his chief of staff and cabinet members, saying he should consider exiting the presidential race. Wow. You know, this by the way, coming at the same time as now this Autopen panel finding, which the Washington Post is reporting on, citing Autopen use. GOP-led House Oversight Committee calls Biden actions illegitimate. Now, obviously, this is the Republicans right now are doing anything to get favor with Donald Trump. We know this, right? But the Republican-led House Oversight Committee released a report on Tuesday questioning the legitimacy of the Autopen. The report is the result of a 5-month-long probe spurred by accusations made by Trump, of course, about Biden's mental fitness. Republicans have charged that Biden's aides covered up a decline in the then president's cognitive ability. Yes, we also already know that. And that the Biden administration misused the presidential Autopen to issue executive actions without Biden's direct involvement. Right, and then this sort of raises the question of like the people elected Biden, not Biden's staff. The committee of Republican majority said Tuesday it found no record that Biden approved executive actions in several instances, including one related to presidential pardons. Mind you, when it came to the pardon of like his son, Biden actually signed it himself rather than using Autopen, which is very interesting. The allegations brought by Trump and Republicans about Biden's use of Autopen prompted a rare rebuke earlier this summer from the former president, that Biden made every decision. The Biden spokesperson dismissed the findings in the oversight report, saying there was no conspiracy and no cover-up. This investigation into baseless claims, this is their argument, that's fine. So do they say anything else here? Long been targeted by the House committee. We know that this is mostly political. The new report states that unless the Biden administration can prove the president approved a given action, the committee deems that those actions are void. I mean, this will end up getting litigated in courts, potentially. This could set some groundwork for that. But I think what's more interesting is this turmoil talk. So after the debate, in a report released Tuesday, Biden top aides have gone on record to respond to questions about the former president's declining health and what aides did to obscure it from the public. In the result of the panel interviewing members of this is the result of them interviewing members. 3 of Biden's closest members pleaded the 5th. Oh, that's your constitutional right. Driving the news. The Biden chief of staff, Jeff Zients, told a panel that he and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Commerce Secretary and VA, all expressed concern about Biden continuing his re-election campaign after the debate. Right. So basically his cabinet is like, you're done, dude. Within a few days after the debate, Biden was aware of my view that I thought it was prudent to consider getting out of the race. Wow. I mean, good. He actually had some honest people inside. He urged Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, to do a full workup of medical tests on the president. I wonder if that actually happened. It probably didn't. Other aides, however, told the committee about their concerns, that the concerns over Biden's health were overblown and media-driven. Bro, no, they weren't. We saw it firsthand, you lying scumbags. Man, I hate these. People don't want to lose their jobs. They want to stay in the White House, you know? Asked if he understood that some voters watching the debate felt that Biden was struggling cognitively, top aide Steve Ricchetti said, "This isn't how the country perceived it. This isn't true." Bull crap! I watched it live. The second he walked out on that stage, I called out this guy was done. That debate was a disaster. We saw it before he opened his mouth. We saw it after he opened his mouth. We knew it after the debate was over. It was done. You're a lying scum, Steve. He blamed the chattering class for overreacting and saying it was a cheap shot. Oh, you're smoking crack. Biden had pretty good answers. Stylistically, I was worried about his voice. Mike, you're a dumbass too. And I'm not even being political. This is just straight logic. Biden's top policy advisor, Bruce Reed, attributed part of Biden's performance to the president's childhood stutter. This had nothing to do with his stutter. The guy was falling asleep on stage. He couldn't remember what to say. He exhibited all the classic signs of dementia, which we broke down as well. Come on. Biden's inner circle would end up shrinking as skeptics were pushed out. Oh, and then they fired the skeptics. I mean, that's the same thing Donald Trump does. You know, as soon as you say something bad about Trump, you get fired. The committee's report was only issued by the Republican-led majority, includes cherry-picked parts of testimony. That is fair, too. It's very likely that this is all just going to be, like, you have to consider the source. But we saw the debate, right? So this doesn't surprise me. None of this seems like it's unbelievable. Since discussed Biden's age, long-term trouble with names and dates, got worse with age. It's never been a strength for him. Jill Biden was heavily involved in managing Biden's schedule, pushing him to get more rest. Yeah, like his midday naps. Jill Biden wanted to make sure the president had enough time to himself and that he wasn't overscheduled. And then, I mean, in fairness, like, you got to give credit to Trump. Even if you don't like Trump, like, dude, the guy's schedule's insane. Insane. Jill Biden wanted to continue to make sure the president had enough time to himself. Yeah, we saw that. Point person for the president's schedule. Conversation about stage managing Biden and reducing the number of steps he needed to take in public. Come on. That's already a red flag. Hey, guys, forget about 10,000 steps. We actually need to make sure we stay under 1,000 steps today, okay? We don't want him walking more than 1,000 steps. We're going to keep the cameras on for these 59 steps that he's going to go from the door to the helicopter. And that's it, okay? We've only got 941 more steps that we can afford. And we only want 10% of those to be public. That's just a scam. You know, the president's health shouldn't be hidden from the public, and we know it was here. And that's not to say that, you know, they didn't hide the severity of Donald Trump's COVID illness. You know, those staged photos at Walter Reed. Come on. Trump wasn't doing too hot. He wasn't doing too hot. He got lucky with the monoclonal antibodies that they caught this stuff fast. But he wasn't doing too hot there when he went to Walter Reed. We know that. We know there was some covering up over there going on as well. So in fairness, it happens on both sides. But that said, it's kind of interesting to see Axios say there was civil war inside of the Biden White House, because it just tells us what we already knew. That there were people inside who were covering up the true decline of Biden. And even his own closest advisors knew it.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.